And apparently, as it's told to me in my family, I'm like a third cousin removed from Kevin James. So I would have definitely, had I run into him, said, "Hey, we're really distantly related." And he would have said, "Okay."
Welcome, nominees for Arun Considers. We've got Arun and Jordan. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your nomination.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Arun, I see you're sporting the beard now. It's it must be quarantine.
Yep, it was way bigger and bushier not too long ago. You're lucky.
Oh, really? I noticed that you have your nomination certificate posted proudly in the background.
Yep.
Very cool. Congratulations. Big fans of the show, and a well-deserved nomination. I guess the one thing I wanted to say is I'm sorry that we didn't have a for your consideration campaign because of the huge potential for puns abound.
Oh, yeah.
Consider Arun for Arun Considers. I mean,
yeah,
maybe another year.
Next year, maybe. Or for the Emmys, or for the Oscars, we'll see.
That's true. I'm not really familiar with those, but really just excellent work for Arun Considers. Just fantastic show, great writing and great production. Jordan's the director and co-producer, and Arun, of course, the star, and I imagine also writer, producer as well.
Yep.
Producer, creator, germinator of all things in the Arun Considers universe.
Hyphenator, as we all are in the indie series category. Look, we the indie series is award category for the Streamy Awards is really important, because when we started the awards over 10 years ago, really indie series and what we consider indie series now is really what online video is all about. It was web series. It was independent creators that were looking to produce serialized, almost television style shows and put them on the web, right? The concept of a YouTuber was just starting there. And of course, it's now this idea of the YouTube creator is something that's sort of eclipsed sort of our collective consciousness of YouTube, and extraordinarily diverse and amazing. But we still love the idea of these thoughtful, high caliber, high production, creative series, and I'm just honored that you're part of it this year.
Oh,
how do you feel?
We appreciate it. That's awesome. I mean, we're such a tiny show with like such a low budget, and just feels amazing to be here. So we're to represent the spirit of the show. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when Arun first created the series, the mantra was just we have cameras, whether it's the 5D that we were shooting with or even on our phones, and there's really no excuse not to go out and tell a story and explore an idea, an emotion, place in our town in LA where we shoot and live. There's no reason not to just go out and do it. And we had both met in film school and had been on bigger shoots, and this was just, once you're out of school, or even if you're not even going to film school, it's really important to just get out and be creative. And so like all these series, embody that spirit. 20 Seconds to Live, Choose Me, Chris and Jack, Lockdown Buddy, like they're all fantastic. So we're really honored to like be in that cohort because they're great.
Arun, it
Absolutely.
feels like the series is very personal. It just has that feeling. I don't know where you drew your inspiration from, if it's anecdotal, if it's autobiographical, but it does feel like that. How did you come up with the idea for the series?
Yeah, I mean, it's very autobiographical and anecdotal. I mean, we like to say like we don't do any research. All the research is just like what's in my head, So yeah, we're considering these grand topics, but like we're not authorities on them. It's just based on my, general thoughts about them. I'd say coming up with the show was really just, as Jordan was saying, was kind of a practical thing. We were like, we got to be making stuff. We want to make stuff, but like, how do you do that, without any money or without any connections or whatever? And we're like, okay, I'm going to come up with the simplest idea that I can, which is literally just like me walking around thinking. And so I don't even need sound equipment. I can just do a voiceover. So that's kind of how we started. And, it's grown since then. But as far as like coming up with ideas and stuff, it's just, random stuff I write down as I'm going about my day, just things that annoy me usually. And then I start thinking about those more and it turns into a show.
If you had to choose a favorite episode, which one would it be?
We did an episode called Arun Considers American Indians. We shot it partly in LA. Jordan shot the part that was in LA. And then we shot part of it in India while I was there visiting my family. So it's got this cool production value of being both. And it's a concept that like I've always kind of wanted to talk about in a sort of public way, which is just, we've got this term American Indians, we got this term Indian Americans. And maybe they're a little more connected than we think. So that's what that episode is, and I think that's my favorite.
I gotta say, it's like the concept is like a vlogger meets a stand-up comedian in a narrative form.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. We're gonna steal that for a one sheet.
Oh, go for it.
I like it.
How about you, Jordan? What was one of your favorite?
I think my favorite is actually one that I wasn't involved in the show yet, but it's in volume 1 is the episode Shaving, where Arun considers whether or not he needs to shave his beard, which on the surface, I think what I love about an idea like that is it seems really deceptively simple, but it's actually a really personal exploration of what it meant to be an Indian young man who could grow a full beard in high school, and then now later it becomes something that's associated with terrorism. And so they're very real kind of issues, and Arun's writing just manages to weave it through being funny and very personal. So I think that's when the show kind of shines the most, when Arun, both as a creator and a character, get to explore things that are, hitting several areas of emotion that I think are very relatable and unique.
It's interesting that many of the nominees this year are about focusing in and exploring a world that is right there, right in front of you, whether it's Ants Canada, which is a huge kind of almost Game of Thrones epic battle story that includes betrayal and backstabbing, and it's really literally just happening in an ant colony. It's an incredible series. Or, something like State of Grace, which is another documentary, which, talks about religion. It's a little bit more in your face about being exploratory. But then Arun Considers, it's like literally there's something as simple as shaving a beard for one person isn't really much of a decision, but beneath the surface, you see there's all these cultural and identity considerations that have to be taken into account when you make a decision like that, and the statement that you're making, and the relationship with your family and with your friends and with who you are and the expression of that. And I mean, it's something as simple as that. I think that's what's really great about that, is you see this world that exists right before your eyes that, gives you an appreciation that people's lives are extraordinarily complex, and you need to appreciate that.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, I wrote that Shaving episode back when Trump was just joining the White House around that time. And so I had a lot of things on my mind about, like, the perception of brown people, in general, but like, particularly when I was at airports, it was something that I would think about a lot. And yeah, exactly. It's that sort of thing where, you walk around an airport, you see people with beards, without beards, whatever. You don't really think about it, but, I'd like to get people to think about it a little bit through my perspective. Yeah,
it's like the most uncomfortable people at airports are actually people with beards. That's something you ever consider that also, is just that that must be a lot to go through.
Well, I think that's the spirit of, like, an indie series, is you can take things like that and present them, and it's not about, necessarily having to run a story idea through a writer's room and through producers, and it's, when you get an indie series, you're really getting a creator directly speaking to an audience. So it means so much to us to be able to just put these things out, and if it reaches one person, that's, it's cliche, but that's exactly what we want at the end of the day, is just to be able to connect with people and share our point of view.
What's on the horizon for the future?
Well, Jordan and I have been writing a lot. We have a kind of a half-hour pilot script version of the show that I've been trying to shop around a little bit, and we're writing another pilot together and stuff like that. And then as far as Arun Considers, I'm sure there'll be new episodes coming. I just have to let them percolate a little bit. But this year has been weird, so obviously.
Always weighing the idea of whether or not we're going to launch into a quarantine version of Arun Considers or not, which I'm sure we have plenty of source material to mine for that. So
I mean, I certainly considered it. The thing is, it's like I've never been into that topical material, you know, like even the shaving the beard thing. It's like it's more about like a personal anecdote than it is about the times we live in. And so you know, I don't know if I'm the best person to talk about like 2020, you know. So, but you know, maybe I'll think of something.
Well, I know that's been really challenging. Producing the Streamy Awards, COVID compliant, has been extremely challenging for us as well.
Yeah.
But also, it's created new opportunities for, you know, like extended interviews, even like this is something that would never happen on a red carpet. It'd be sort of like, oh, great, that's it, next. You know, so I think that's also really a cool thing. We've also created some new formats for the show that take into consideration everything that's so new about this year. And I mean, using technology
this has been such a cool
to take that.
Yeah, seriously, hats off to you guys. I can only imagine how difficult. I've been on a few shoots in quarantine directing, and it's just with COVID compliance, it's such a stressful procedure. I can only imagine what orchestrating something on this big a scale entails. So hats off.
We really minimized the amount of like stuff that we produced and really leaned on the community to help produce much of the material in the show this year. And you'll see there's so much that came in from the community and really kind of, you know, gave it its own personality. And, you know, stitching that together was challenging, but, you know, we're not in a ballroom. We're not, there is no red carpet, which means that we don't even have to really think in those paradigms anymore, right? So, so much of the show is being contributed from the creators themselves because they're the people like yourselves who are the creative people we're celebrating. Why not give them a voice in the show and how we do that? So it's been really kind of an interesting journey, and really look forward to tuning in to the show with you all.
Very cool.
Yeah, us too.
Anybody
we would have loved
you'd want to run into if you were able to see them in person this year?
I was about to say, I mean, as much as it is awesome to what you guys are doing, like it would have been cool to be on the red carpet and be at the show. I mean, we were looking at like clips from last year and stuff. I mean, do you think Will Smith would have showed up? I mean, I know he's nominated. And like
Will Smith is probably going to be there anyway, just to be safe.
I'm a huge Jack Black fan, and the Jablinski games I'm a big fan of, so that would have been great. And apparently, as it's told to me in my family, I'm like a third cousin removed from Kevin James, so I would have definitely, had I run into him, said, hey, we're really distantly related, and he would have said, okay, and probably just gone on for the rest of the evening.
Like, hey, we're related, but we're distant enough that we can have a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go on vacation together, right?
Well, congratulations. And I guess the only last question I wanted to ask was, you know, what does being nominated for a Streamy mean to you?
I mean, it's really cool. It's like joining the big leagues of the internet, you know, like I feel like we were, you know, in this little bubble, and now that bubble is like growing and growing. It feels amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, making stuff independently, there's far more rejection and dismissal than there is encouragement. So something like this being recognized by the Streamies is just an incredible honor, and just you know, essentially a seal of approval. Keep doing stuff, keep making your show, and putting stuff out there, and good things come from it. So thank you.
Well, congratulations again. Thank you very much for putting on a jacket. So at least from the belt up, you are you know, showing some respect. I appreciate that, and I really do appreciate all the work that you're doing, and congratulations again on your nomination.
Thanks so much. It was great.
Looking forward to the show.
Yep.